Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. Welcome to another 5 talking points video after our 3-1 win against BATE Borisov. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Loftus-Cheek and whether he can be a possible alternative playing up front as a centre forward. And also, if he can actually, get a first team place over Barkley and Kovacic. I'm going to be talking about Olivier Giroud and why this guy is much more important to the team than we actually realise. I'm going to be talking about Pedro and how he looks like he's not back to full match fitness. I'll be talking about Hudson-Odoi and I'm going to be talking about the performances of our fullbacks last night. But you guys, you know what to do, smash that like button, help me get more than 500 likes for today's video. And you guys, it's another sponsored video by OneFootball. As you guys can see, I'm showing you Ruben Loftus-Cheek's stats from last night and honestly, it's a pretty complete performance. I mean, everything good came from Ruben Loftus-Cheek in midfield yesterday. And it moves in nicely to the first talking point for today's video. And that's in regards to Loftus-Cheek and whether he could possibly play up front. Now, the only reason why I'm addressing this is because I've got a lot of people on social media and a lot of people in the comment section actually thinking about this idea and hypothesizing this idea. But you guys, I'm sorry to kind of burst your bubble, but I mean, honestly, you really need to look at Loftus-Cheek's performance again. Go to Tiggs' channel, go to CFC Videos channel to see that. Because everything good that Ruben does is when he's facing the opposition goal. Now, of course, it's not the first time that Ruben has played further up as a striker or, a winger or even a number 10. But there's always been a reason as to why he struggled a lot. And it actually cast my mind back to a game against Bristol Rovers in the Carabao Cup a few seasons ago. And Loftus-Cheek got a goal on that game. But really, that game really summed up to me why he can only play in midfield. That's the position meant for him, because whenever he has to play with his back to goal, he can't do it. And people have to understand, when you play as a number 10 or when you're playing as a striker, when you're facing the opposition goal, it's a completely different game, because it becomes about your spatial awareness and understanding and moving into spaces, intelligent use of passes, etc, etc. And Ruben just can't do that. I mean, one of Ruben Loftus-Cheek's key attributes is his ability to carry the ball and drive further up. Now, look at someone like Morata or Giroud. How often in games are they given that chance where they can actually turn with the ball and run at opponents? They can't do that. And then it gets you thinking, well, just how deep does Ruben have to drop in midfield where he's able to do that? So honestly, I don't really see that happening. I think if there's one area Ruben could slightly improve on a bit more is his ability to hold off markers. Sometimes I feel that he can get brushed off just a tiny bit too much because maybe he isn't concentrating as fully as he should. So just imagine Ruben playing up front, trying to hold off very physical, powerful defenders in the league. It's not going to work, and he's not going to be able to play to his best abilities. I mean, look at how Ruben plays and how he uses the ball. I mean, playing him up front means that he can't do most of those good things that he does normally do. And just because, you can score goals from midfield doesn't mean that you should be playing as a striker, or you can be an alternative. Now, I understand why people are thinking outside the box, because it's not as if our strikers are doing very well at this moment in time. But, and I don't mean to sound arrogant, I really hope I don't, but I kind of think some of the people having those opinions don't really understand Ruben's game as much. Really, yesterday was a testament to his skills and his abilities, and he really showed us what he can actually provide playing as a number 8 in midfield. And you guys might be thinking this, but Nini, with Ross Barkley and Kovacic playing as number 8s, how realistic is it for Ruben to get a lot of game time during the course of his season? With Ruben's skills and abilities, can't he play somewhere else where he can benefit the team? Isn't Sarri the same one always saying that Ruben isn't ready tactically playing in midfield? Now, yeah, you guys, you do kind of have an interesting point, but one of the reasons as to why it's going to take Ruben longer to actually get used to playing in midfield and really understanding all the tactical nuances is the fact that he hasn't been playing in midfield over the past few years. I mean, look at his time at Crystal Palace, playing as like a wide playmaker similar to Koke at Atletico Madrid. Look at his time under Conte, playing up front and playing as a number 10. Even that season when Mourinho did leave and Gus Hiddink came in as the interim manager, he still kept playing Ruben as a number 10. And you guys, the reason why I'm bringing up this point is this is the main reason as to why Ruben has kind of stalled a tiny bit with his development. It's because he's been continuously used out of position. He's always been a number 10. Sarri obviously sees that potential in him. Why am I saying that? Because Sarri would have used him in other positions already by now, let's be realistic. But Ruben's shown already this season, because we have to be honest, every game he's played, he has looked good and he has done good things. But last night, he showed us why he has to be seen as a box-to-box midfield player. He showed us his qualities, his ability to drive with the ball, play in the tight spaces, play people in, beat a press, start attacks, provide assists as well, and have that goal threat on top of that. All I can say to you guys is, we need to be patient. That's all it's going to take. But Ruben definitely isn't a possibility up front. Now, moving on to the second talking point, that's in regards to Olivier Giroud. And honestly, I think we all know that we're not going to expect much in front of goal from Giroud. But as I've been analysing his performances and looking at the stats, Giroud actually provides a lot to this team. And in my opinion, it's starting to look now like maybe Giroud should be the first choice striker permanently at Chelsea. Now, last night Giroud wasn't able to score a goal, but it's his ability to take defenders out the game which really benefits our midfield and really benefits our attacking players. And that's because it provides more space between the lines for these guys to operate in. And this is why Ruben had so much joy down that left-hand side, playing in that half space and playing in tight spaces. And honestly, it's not even a surprise now that whenever Giroud starts, that's when our midfield players get goals. Look at the goal Kante scored, the 2 goals that Ross Barkley scored, and the hat-trick that Ruben Loftus-Cheek scored as well. And as I keep stressing, it's because he takes defenders out of the game, creating the space for others. I mean, there's space available in front of you, and you're making a late man run. Of course, it's going to be happy days. Now, you guys, I've got a few interesting stats for you, starting with the amount of goals that Chelsea score when Giroud's starting games over Alvaro Morata. When Giroud starts games, we've scored 11 goals. When Morata has started, we've only scored 8 goals. And when I used the team goals scored under each striker, that stat was based on each striker playing more than 60 minutes in a game. But even then, you know, the 3 big wins of the season, the 4-1 win over Cardiff, 3-0 over Southampton, and the 3-1 win last night, they all came when Giroud was starting the game. And let's not forget the main man, Hazard FC himself. Hazard has scored 5 goals when Giroud has started games. That's 5 out of the 7 goals he's scored in total this season. And when you realise too that Giroud has scored 4 assists so far this season, it really lets you know just how much he benefits the team offensively. Now, how does he do this? Well, with Olivier Giroud, what he tends to do is he tends to stand in between 2 opposition centre-backs. And Giroud doesn't move very much because he's trying to take these guys out the game to create more space between the lines for our midfield players. And even when he's coming on as a sub, he's still providing benefits to the team. I mean, look at his contribution against Man United. Once he came on, we started to have more of a focal point up front. You guys in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions on Olivier Giroud. Do you guys agree with the things I'm saying about him? Or do you still think that Morata still needs to have some patience given to him and he is eventually going to come good? Moving on to the third talking point, that's in regards to Pedro. Now, yes, we know that Pedro did sustain a bit of an injury, but since then, he hasn't really been doing much in the team, and it's been quite disappointing because Pedro has started the season very well. He's been very positive offensively for us, and he's helped the team out quite a lot. But since this injury, I mean, Sarri hasn't been using him as much. When he's playing games, he's not really influencing them the same as he was doing before. Maybe that's still down to him not being fully fit, but let's be serious. As we all know, we do need an upgrade player down that right-hand side. Now with Pedro, it's great that, you know, he can find top form playing in the system, but it gets you thinking, can Pedro consistently play like this throughout the course of a season? Most likely not, but if we can get top performances for, let's say, 60% of the season out from Pedro, then that's more than good enough. Moving on to the fourth talking point, that's in regards to our fullbacks from last night. Now, let's be serious, even though we know it was only BATE Borisov, the fullbacks that played last night still showed us what we're missing offensively at certain times when Alonso and Azpilicueta were playing. And I think the most important thing that guys like Zappacosta and Emerson have that Alonso and Aspi don't have is the ability to, you know, take responsibility in the final thirds. You know, they can beat a man, they can dribble past an opponent, and on top of that, they're both very, very fast players as well. And it makes a massive difference defensively when you have a fullback that does have that confidence to beat a man and skip past an opponent, because if he does that, it means that he's going to be running into space, meaning that he's going to bring out an opposition player to try and cover him, meaning that you're creating space. And this is why fullbacks have become so crucial and important in modern day football, because they do provide such a great source of assists during the course of a season. Now, as I keep saying, even though Alonso is showing signs that he wants to get better and he does want to improve, he still does have some limitations in his game. I mean, he's not necessarily able to get inside the opposition box for, crosses or corners, etc, etc. He doesn't always provide as much outside, playing out wides. With Azpilicueta as well, he's someone where he kind of does slow down that play down the right-hand side at times. And yes, even though we all know that the right-hand side plays a more supportive role, there's still moments where Aspi should be making that decision to bomb forwards and take responsibility, but he just never does that, and he always has that habit of always passing back all the time. Still, when it comes to Emerson and Zappacosta, if Zappacosta was able to defend and he was able to keep the ball by himself and beat your press, then yeah, he might be having a better chance. And with Emerson, with what I'm hearing about Emerson, he's been getting into trouble a bit with the club because let's say he has a habit of just going out and enjoying his life a bit too much, and obviously Sarri isn't too impressed and pleased with that, so this is why he hasn't really been playing as much in games. But it's evident that the guy does have qualities, but he does need to start focusing a bit more now, and he has to show Sarri why he should be playing over Marcos Alonso. And moving on to the final talking point, that's in regards to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, with his performance yesterday, I think it really showed his youthful exuberance. I mean, let's be serious, there were times where, let's say, his decision making wasn't always on point, and his shots on goal weren't always as effective, but this is why I keep stressing it's youthful exuberance. Think about it like this: his first start of the season to show what he can do against a pretty easy opposition. You are going to overdo things, you do want to show your abilities, you're going to do things a bit harder than you need to do, so it is understandable from that point of view. I don't really think that game was a fair reflection on his lack of abilities, etc, etc. I just mean that, because he was playing with that youthful exuberance, he wasn't necessarily being as effective in certain areas. But even with me saying that, he still played well. His ability to beat a man is incredible. The close control, the running with the ball at pace, so elegant, so natural, so smooth. And he was causing BATE Borisov a lot of issues with his runs in behind and with what he was doing on the ball as well. And I think we all kind of know, the guy is ready to be playing much more football. And I'm thinking with that performance, if you're Sarri, you're seeing positive things in there, but you're thinking, you know what? If someone like Willian or Pedro is tired for a bit, I can use this guy for the last 15-20 minutes. I think that Callum Hudson-Odoi, whenever he has played under Sarri, has shown his abilities. And I think that it's quite interesting too in terms of the fact that, what does it mean for his current contract situation? Now, he hasn't agreed to sign anything new just yet. I think we all know that he does need to reach 18 as well before he can commit to anything long term. But before he does that, he wants to get some assurances that he is going to have game time and the club are going to really manage him properly and use him properly. But of course, you guys, if I hear anything about that, Blue Line CV is the place to hear all the breaking news. But you guys, that's it for today's 5 talking points video. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm the EFC. This is Blue Line CV, signing out.